Welcome to The Explainer. So, have you noticed that your favorite restaurants are suddenly just bombarding you with deals? Today, we're going to dig into what's being called the Great Restaurant Value Wars to figure out why everyone is fighting so hard for your dollar. Let's get right into it.
If it feels like every single chain, I'm talking McDonald's, Chili's, you name it, is suddenly screaming about deals, promotions, and value meals, well, you're not imagining things. And the reason it's all happening right now, it's actually surprisingly simple.
Okay, so it really all boils down to this one simple fact. A recent survey found that when our wallets get a little lighter, when money's tight, dining out is the very first thing to go for almost a quarter of us. And what that does is it creates this fierce battleground where all these restaurants are now fighting over a much smaller group of customers.
All right, so let's really set the stage for this battle. We're going to take a look at just how serious this situation has gotten for the entire restaurant industry.
Yeah, this number, it's pretty staggering when you think about it. For 11 out of the last 12 months, restaurant traffic has actually fallen. Fewer people are walking through the doors. The only exception, a tiny, basically 0.1% bump back in July. So you can see how this consistent drop has put the whole industry in a really desperate spot.
And all that pressure, well, it's ignited a full-blown value war. It's forcing restaurants to basically pick a side, to adopt one of three very different strategies to try and win you back.
All right, first up in the ring, we've got the aggressors. We're talking about the fast food giants. And they are leading the charge with a super simple but really powerful weapon: rock bottom prices. So what's really fascinating is how you can see McDonald's playbook laid out right here. It's a multi-pronged attack. First, they launch the $5 value meal. Then they throw in buy one, get one deals. And then, and this is a really unusual move, they actually help their own franchisees pay for all these discounts. It's all part of this master plan to fix their reputation for value and get those budget-conscious diners back in the door. And, the CEO of McDonald's himself, Chris Kempczynski, points out that this isn't just about targeting folks on a tight budget. I mean, that feeling of getting a good deal, that's universal. It appeals to absolutely everyone, no matter what your income is.
Okay, but here's the real secret sauce, right? It is incredibly hard for a restaurant to make any real money on just a $5 meal. So the real strategy here is to use that deal as bait. The goal is just to get you in the door or, in the drive-through line, and then hope that you, or maybe someone else in your car, adds a full-priced item to the order. That's where they make their real money.
Okay, so let's move on to our second contender in this war, the fast casual chains. Think places like Chipotle and Cava. Now, they're playing a completely different and honestly a much riskier game. So while fast food is in this big race to the bottom on price, these fast casual places are trying to stay out of it completely. Their whole bet is that by focusing on better ingredients and a nicer experience, they can justify their higher prices and, protect that premium brand image they've built. And listen to this quote from Cava's CEO, Brett Schulman. It just perfectly captures the pressure they're feeling. He's basically saying that the pull to just start discounting everything is the strongest it's been since the Great Recession. That's over a decade ago, even as they're trying desperately to hold the line. But, this whole quality-first gamble, it's proving to be really tough. For one thing, they're getting hit hard because younger consumers are pulling back their spending the most. Plus, they don't really have obvious things to put on sale, like appetizers. And there's this huge fear that if you start offering deals, your customers will just expect them forever, which can really cheapen your brand in the long run. Oh, and they just plain can't afford to match those fast food prices. All right, that brings us to our third and final contender, and honestly, this might be the most surprising comeback story in this whole value war: casual dining. So get this, chains like Chili's have totally flipped the script. See, as fast food prices have been slowly creeping up and up, Chili's saw an opening and they pounced. They're basically marketing themselves now as the smarter choice, arguing, hey, for just a little bit more money, you can get a way better experience with us. And this right here really breaks it all down. A typical fast food combo is getting close to $10 now. But then you look over at Chili's. For what, $1.50 more? You get the burger, fries, and a drink, plus a soup or a salad. And you get full table service. I mean, that is a seriously powerful value proposition. And the results? Well, they really speak for themselves. This strategy is absolutely working. Chili's has posted these impressive double-digit growth numbers, not just in sales, but in actual foot traffic, every single quarter this year.
They are successfully pulling in diners from every income level. So what does all this mean? What does this ongoing battle mean for the future of dining out? And maybe more importantly, what does it mean for your wallet? Okay, this might be the single biggest takeaway from all of this. There's been a huge shift in how we, the customers, think. For years and years, all the research showed that we cared more about quality and service than we did about price. Well, that's just not true anymore. Today, price is right up there on the same level. It's not an afterthought, it's one of the main things driving our decisions.
And as one analyst put it, this isn't about growing the market. The whole pie of people eating out, it's not getting any bigger. So this has become a zero-sum game. It's just restaurants fighting each other to get a bigger slice of the pie that's already there.
And all of this leaves us with one final question for you. In this massive battle for your loyalty, you've really got three choices in front of you. You have fast food, which is betting everything on price. You have fast casual, betting on quality. And you have casual dining, betting on the overall experience. So as these value wars rage on, who gets your vote? And more importantly, who gets your dollar?